Project 2025 has made the rounds in the news a lot lately, and folks are sharing about how bad it is, and that's good, but it also leaves a lot of questions about exactly what it is. In short, it's a document just shy of 1,000 pages created by conservative think tank the Heritage Foundation. It outlines potential policy and legislation changes to be made in the event that Donald Trump wins the presidency in the 2024 election. It's presented as guidelines to strengthen the United States government, but it's actually designed to ensure Republican dominance going forward. It's a wish list of alt-right ideology and culture war fodder. Project 2025's full name is Mandate for Conservative Leadership, The Conservative Promise, Project 2025 Presidential Transition Project. It's a mouthful that really sets the tone for a 920-page document outlining the Republican platform, which is far from the Hank Hill party. Despite being the party of small government, upfront is the expansion of presidential powers by taking away the independence of several agencies. The Department of Justice, Federal Trade Commissions, Department of Education, and OSHA obviously stand out the most. However, there's also an attack on the Environmental Protection Agency, on the grounds that employees are radical leftists. This is despite constant surveys that depict long-term government employees as more apolitical than the rest of the country. This is extremely like the Lavender Scare that began in 1947 that was seeking to remove any LGBTQ people or allies from government roles. Project 2025 continues past expansion of presidential powers to protecting marriage. The idea of protecting marriage would be to make any marriage that isn't between a man and a woman illegal, so no more gay marriage. Weirdly enough, it also advocates for child marriage because somehow that is more sacred than gay marriage. Not only that, it seeks to make divorce illegal nationwide. The tax on reproduction rights will continue with the nationwide ban of abortion, as well as contraceptives. That means your birth control and possibly even your condoms. Dr. Joycelyn Elders once said we need to get over the love affair with abortions and think about how to care for the children. That's not going to happen here. Abortions and miscarriages would be legally prosecuted as murders, even in cases when the fetus was already dead. These would be federal murder cases, and the Project 2025 legislation and policies would go on to expand the use of the death penalty in the United States, as well as force speedy trials. We all know the death penalty doesn't always get it right, but even if it did, killing people for aborting fetuses is kind of backwards if you want to protect life. But it's not just an attack on reproduction, it's an attack on all medical needs. To those who are not able-bodied, it gets that specific. Trans people, of course, get a big middle finger with the banning of gender-affirming care. However, as we've seen time and time again, gender-affirming care is not just for trans people. Many cis men and women receive injections of estrogen and testosterone for illnesses they may have. But as we've seen with bans on gender-affirming care in various states, they're not able to get their medication either. Moving on, the citizenship test will be radically changed to weed out those conservatives think are unworthy of United States citizenship. Removal of accommodations and protections made for journalists, as we've seen in Israel. A ban on social media, but also pornography. The whole thing is an attack on the civil service system, an attempt to implement some kind of fascist monarchy resembling a spoil system where government workers are chosen not for the quality of their work, but the political party they serve. Looking at it from my point of view, the whole goal seems to be to cripple the federal government. This plan has been called unprecedented, but this is a history channel, and I view history as an ever-flowing conversation. And in this case, the conversation should be turned to the fact that this has happened before. Most recently, Donald Trump's presidency. The Heritage Foundation released a similar document in 2016 called Priorities for the President, and 64% of the things they outlined in the document were completed. But Trump isn't the only one. Every Republican president since Ronald Reagan has had a similar document produced for them. These documents become the platform for not only the presidential candidates, but the Republican Party as a whole, because sometimes it seems as if there is no political ideology for the Republican candidate ahead of this document. Because there's no mass ideology ahead of time, people fall in line and these documents become real things that they follow and hold deeply, even if it's just something brand new. Ronald Reagan managed to complete 80% of the document that was prepared prior to his presidential election. However, 2025 is the most extreme of these documents. It's a reminder of why people have to vote. It's not even about liking options for the president. At this point, it's just to stop the bleeding. Or honestly, just slowing it down a little bit.